Good luck.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün Schwarzman Scholars burslarıyla Tsinghua University'de tam burslu bir yıllık master eğitimi fırsatını Frederico'dan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı Questions bölümünden sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Frederico, the stage is yours now.
Hello everybody. Hello Zeynep, thank you very much. I apologize everyone who is joining us today. First of all, for not addressing you in Turkish, which I do not know. My name is Federico Menino. I'm very glad to be here with you today, and I'm an admissions officer, an admissions and outreach officer for Schwarzman Scholars, which is a program that I'll be talking to you about today, and also hoping to hear your questions and answer any doubts and curiosities you may have about the program. Before we start with a very quick presentation, I just want to start by introducing a quick about myself. I'm originally from Brazil, so quite far from Turkey. I've worked with the Brazilian Foreign Ministry before joining the Schwarzman Scholars program, and I've been part of the recruiting team at Schwarzman Scholars since 2017 already. So quite a while, almost 4 years now with the team. So without further ado, I just wanted to start this presentation today by talking about, if you have heard about Schwarzman Scholars or if you have never heard of our program, I just want to, in a nutshell, present what this program is about, why it was created, and who are the type of candidates that we are trying to recruit and attract to this program. So in a nutshell, Schwarzman Scholars was created about 6 years ago, and the name of the program comes from our founder and patron, Steve Schwarzman. And I invite all of you to visit our website and get to know. He's quite a famous person already. Steve Schwarzman is a philanthropist, and actually today one of the largest and most important philanthropists in the field of international higher education in the world. And Steve, together with other founders of the program and people at Tsinghua University in Beijing, came together, basically moved by the understanding that the world needs the next generation of global leaders in all fields, in all industries, in all areas of expertise, need to have a deeper understanding of China and of China's role in the world. If you are an artist, a scientist, someone who aspires to be a diplomat, if you want to cause impact in the non-profit field, or if you're an entrepreneur and business person, no matter who you are and where you are in your career, I think nobody today would doubt that the importance of China is not something that we can neglect or ignore in whatever field we are. So the idea of Schwarzman Scholars and why people created this master's degree program in global affairs based in Beijing, in the top university of China, the idea was really to bring people from all walks of life and from all over the world to this unique program, which has its foundations on leadership, to form a community of global leaders with a personal and experiential understanding of China. So I'll start by describing, so what is the program, how is it based? And again, I invite you, and I will put on our chat a few more references and additional references on the program after this short presentation. But basically the program is based at Tsinghua University, and to start understanding this like 10,000 feet presentation of the program to what we are actually in concrete terms, the program is based at Tsinghua. If you haven't heard of Tsinghua University, it is today the top-ranked university not only in China but all over Asia. It's one of the most important universities and world-class universities in the world today. And the fact that Schwarzman Scholars has Tsinghua University as its house is not an accident. Tsinghua University is a 100-plus-year-old institution that was founded and that was chosen to be the home of Schwarzman Scholars for many reasons, but particularly 3 important reasons. The first one, the school has a long tradition of establishing ties between the Chinese cultural, economic, and political elites and academia and universities across the world. Tsinghua University, when it was founded back in 1911 at the end of the Qing dynasty in China, it was really the home ground, is where the elite of China's culture and education was trained to be sent abroad with scholarships from the Chinese government. The second important reason that Tsinghua University was chosen to be the house of Schwarzman Scholars is the fact that it is really a breeding ground for leaders in China's business and politics. So it is no accident the current president of China, Xi Jinping, and the former president Hu Jintao, and many members of the Politburo and the political class in China are alumni of Tsinghua University, and many others in business and in science and other fields. And third, but not least, I think Tsinghua University is very well known and became more well known recently in world university rankings, in international conferences, for being a deeply invested research university, especially in the areas of applied social sciences, applied politics, and technology, where for you in Turkey or around the world, I think if we today cannot deny the power and the influence of China in global affairs, one cannot even ignore also the prominence of China in the fields of technology and the changes and impacts that this country is having. And a lot of this is due to things that are happening now at Tsinghua University. So I'll pass you very briefly to talk about the college itself and where the students are housed during their year in China. This is Schwarzman Scholars, which is a beautiful state-of-the-art building built specifically to house the program. This is a residential college, so everybody who is selected to the program and manages to be admitted into the program lives in this college. That's where all the classes take place. That's where many of our networking and guest speaker and special activities take place, and also the student life happens. Every student of our program, and we'll talk more about this later, this is a fully funded scholarship. So if you manage to get through our selection process and be admitted into the program, every student all the expenses are covered by our organization. Every student gets his own room, share common spaces, and a series of common spaces with other students, with the faculty members from Tsinghua and faculty members from all over the world who come and are affiliated to our program. And I think more important than that is the amazing, and I don't say this lightly, agenda of guest speakers and special speakers that come to address the scholars in a very intimate way at the college, and also throughout this year of pandemic, when all of us were working remotely, studying remotely. We managed to attract to our circle of presenters and guest speakers the likes of Kevin Rudd, who's not depicted there. The person in the photo there is Larry Summers, who's been Secretary of Finance of the United States and was president of Harvard University. We have Madame Liu, who is probably the most influential female in Chinese politics, and many others, John Kerry, Madeleine Albright, former presidents, former heads of state, and businessmen who come in an incredible frequency to the college and address our scholars, as I said, in a very personal way. A little bit more of the entry foyer of the college, and I think what has become an important thing to say about Schwarzman Scholars is that even though it's a relatively new program at Tsinghua University, and the college is a new building at a university that is over 100 years old now, the college is already a vivid and kind of central component and part of the daily life at Tsinghua University since its foundation. So it's a very international place. It's a place where people speak all languages, people cultivate all religions and ideologies. So it really became a core center for academic and civic life, I would say, at the core of Tsinghua University. I'll talk a little bit about the academics program. I don't want to, there's a lot to say here. I could spend hours and days talking about our academic program, but I will focus on the basics. So The program comprises a master's degree in global affairs. This is a one-year program. So everybody who is accepted to the program start the program in August of 1 year and graduates, hopefully, after completing all the requirements in June or July of the following year. The program is based on basically the academic curriculum is designed around three main disciplinary pillars. The first one informing the core curriculum is leadership. As I said in the beginning, the whole purpose and mission of the program is to breed and form and foster an international network of leaders in all fields. So in that, we have classes and workshops and very hands-on activities focused on the development of leadership abilities and capabilities among our scholars. The second focus, I would say, are international relations and trade. So notions not only of international relations theory, but how to act in and understand contemporary affairs, be it in business, politics, and other fields. And I think the third disciplinary pillar that informed the program and kind of helps to give a cohesion to our whole academic program is the issue of China, right? We are not making, this program was not designed to be in China by accident or because we didn't have another country to go. Far from that. The whole purpose of the program is not to provide scholars with a deep understanding of Chinese history and culture. We have no illusion that in 1 year someone can be an expert in China, but it is the purpose of our program to form leaders who are aware and informed about the role of China in the world today. So when we're talking about international relations, global affairs, most of our courses and most of our activities are designed to think of and help students reflect about the role of China in a new world order. So we do combine a rigorous core curriculum and electives. Scholars, as I said, come from all walks of life. So people who are from the fields of medicine, engineering, law, or international relations, people from all fields can apply to our program. And of course, they all graduate with the very same degree, in a master's degree in global affairs. The degree is granted by Tsinghua University, recognized by the Chinese Minister of Education. But scholars, of course, have the opportunity to pursue electives and specific courses that fit their particular and special interests in a better way. Mandarin is not a requirement to apply to the program. You may be fluent in Mandarin, you may be studying Mandarin, you may have had a previous experience in China or not. You can be someone like me who has absolutely no knowledge. I've been there once, to be very honest. So this is not a requirement, but of course, you will be Mandarin studies and Mandarin instruction is available to all students during the course of the program. And that's included in the program. And what better opportunity to learn Mandarin and learn about China than being in the best university of China, in the capital of China. So to end there, the capstone project is kind of the research intensive and final as the culmination of the year and the experiences of the students during their year in China. This is the final project. You can call it a thesis, even though the capstone project comprises much more than a research thesis. And I invite you to visit our website. There's a whole webinar that we recorded last year with fellow alumni talking about their different capstone projects. So I can share that in the end of the presentation as well if you're interested in knowing more about this particular aspect of the program. To go, continue with the academic, but going way beyond the classroom experience, this program was created not only by faculty members and people in universities, but most especially this program was idealized and came to life through the hands and the ideas of people who are in the business sector, people who are in politics, people who are deeply and personally connected with the urgent challenges that the world have today. So a program like that and with a mission like that could not be only a program that people stay in the classroom all the time and learn from books. A very strong emphasis of the program is in what we call the experiential learning experience. So throughout the year of study in China, you will have ample opportunities to visit different parts of China that are not Beijing. There are, I highlight there in the slide, 4 things that I help explain the incredible plethora of opportunities that scholars have throughout their year in China. So the mentorship program, each scholar in the beginning of the year is paired with a senior professional in different fields, depending on your area of interest, is paired with a mentor who work with you throughout your year in China. The deep dive is perhaps one of the most popular aspects and parts of the program. This is a 1 week to 10-day long travel experience, thematic travel, in which you were guided by academic advisor, but also by experts in the field to a particular group of scholars, go to a particular region of China to study and follow the day-to-day life of a politician, or other visit companies and cities like Shenzhen and Guangzhou, and get to know about the entrepreneurial landscape of modern China. So the deep dives are also incredible. And we also recorded a webinar recently about the deep dive experience, going into the details of that. Scholars are invited. This is not a requirement, but if scholars want to pursue an internship and a professional development opportunity during the year in China, there is a career development team that is on top of the situation. It will open up and guide you in the best possible way, and also provide all sorts of support that imaginable for your future career development, both during the program but after you graduate. As I said, Schwarzman Scholars, more than a 1-year master's degree program, and perhaps this is the great benefit of the program, is the network and the community that you will be part of for life. I mean, applying to this program are literally people from all over the world. We've had over 70 countries represented in the program in the classes that have been selected so far, and people from various disciplines. And, when people go through an experience like this together, to such a life-changing experience, this changes not only them for the year they are there, but forever in their lives. As Steve Schwarzman likes to say, by being part of this program, you will be one phone call away or one email away from people who will be deciding the fate of the world in different parts of the world in the future. So there are quite a lot of opportunities to keep engaged with the alumni network that is growing every year. Just to reiterate, I said that multiple times already, but this is a comprehensive scholarship. So this means that there are no costs to apply to the scholarship, and there are no costs to be part of the program. If you are accepted, your expenses, all your travels to go to China and back and travel within China, and all costs with housing, food, healthcare expenses, all that and more are covered by the program. And we do say this with a lot of seriously. This is not just to attract people and say, wow, how great this is. Of course, I'm going to apply. But it's that we want to make sure that we are recruiting the best possible people in the world. We are seeking the best possible young leaders in the world, regardless of their socioeconomic or educational background. That's what we're looking for. I'm going now to talk very briefly, and I invite you again to visit our website, where all these eligibility requirements and application components are described in detail. But the application now is open, and it will be open until September. So for those of you who are hearing about Schwarzman Scholars for the first time, I urge you to visit our website and learn more. But basically, how to apply, we have an age requirement that unfortunately is inflexible. So you have to be between 18 and 28 years of age to be eligible to apply to the program. You can be of any citizenship and of any nationality. As I said before, you may know Mandarin or not. This is not a requirement to apply to the program. Even the whole program is conducted in English. So we do request that for folks who have not studied in an English-taught undergraduate degree level or graduate degree level, that you provide proof of fluency in the English idiom. You need to graduate from your undergraduate degree before starting the program. So in case you are still a student, in case you're still in undergrad now, you can apply to the program as far as you finish your undergraduate studies before July of next year, because the program starts in August. For people applying today, this year, that you are applying for the class of 2022, to 2023. The other application components, and I think these are the most, I would say, everything matters and everything is important, but the application components on the right side of your screen are the ones that are really you have to think about and put some thought into it. I'm not going to go in details over all of that. We are having and hosting in the next weeks, as we count down to the application deadline, we will be hosting a number of webinars to talk through, every aspect of the application, and we have office hours where we can discuss the leadership essay, the letters of recommendation, what we expect from your CV, and of course we can address some of these questions during the Q&A in a few minutes. Before we end, I just wanted to highlight what we are looking for. So this is a program on leadership. This is a program on China. All looks very great and very ambitious. So what are you guys looking for? When you're reading an application, what are the people in my team, in the admissions team, willing to see in each application? Of course, this is very broad, but I will try to compartmentalize that into three very broad concepts or things and aspects that we're trying to look for in every application. The first one being leadership, obviously. And by leadership, we understand it's not only the ability and your accomplishments. Oh, I've been a captain of my team. I've been a general of my army or something like this. I mean, there are many ways of defining leadership. We at Schwarzman Scholars try to avoid any dictionary-like explanation of what leadership is or should be, right? We're not looking for one specific type of profile of candidates. But by leadership, we understand a few general components. First of all, the ability to work with teams, the ability to have a solutions-driven mentality and approach to the challenges that we are facing in the world today. The ability to communicate your ideas and to be driven by values, but also communicate your ideas in a compelling and in respectful and sincere and constructive manner. So your ability to demonstrate your leadership capacity has to be deeply associated with the core missions of this program, which are really to produce and foster a next generation of global leaders that is more recipient and receptive than the current generation of leaders to embrace global and multinational ideas and deal with ambiguity. By intellect, also a very broad concept, but I think we're interested in leaders and young people who are not only academic prodigies. So by intellect, we're not only looking at your grades, even though they are important in your academic performance in undergrad or everything, but intellect in our idea and in our comprehension comprises the capacity to understand and comprehend a world that is changing fast. And especially to understand the centrality of China and how this country, perhaps more than any other country in the world today, is changing dramatically and fast. So the ability to understand a world that is constantly moving in front of you, but also to act upon that and propose solutions that can be implemented and emphasized in the world today. Last but not least, I think we highlight and we try to look in the applications as character. And by character, also, we're not inviting people with bad character to apply to our program. But what we're looking for in character is the honest and sincere disposition to be learning from difference, right? We talked a lot about here the very generous scholarship of this incredible building, of this amazing alumni network that you will be part of in case you're accepted to Schwarzman Scholars. But the truth is, Schwarzman Scholars also presents challenges. This is not, as we say in the United States, it's not a walk in the park. It's not all a rose garden. It's not just an exchange program to meet friends from all over the world. What the program really is, it's really an attempt to address the most critical challenges of our times. And part of those is to deal with China. And so think that you will be, if selected, you will be studying at a Chinese university with people from backgrounds, cultural, religious, political backgrounds that are very different than yours. And a big part of the program is your ability, your disposition to build bridges and to build constructive relationships with each and every one of those people. So character plays a big part of what Schwarzman Scholars end up being and what Schwarzman Scholars applicants are from the beginning. I will finish here by highlighting some of the key dates, and a lot of those dates have passed already. So I urge you to focus on the September 21st application deadline that is coming up. We still have time. There's still time to produce your application, but I would definitely advise you to not leave it for too late to start your application. And the process happens fairly quick. In October, mid-October, all the applicants who were selected and invited to the final round of interviews are notified, and the interviews take place in different time zones, but between the last week of October and the first weeks of November. And the final class is announced in between the end of November, beginning of December. So if you're applying this year, again, you're applying to the class that will be starting in August of 2022. But in case you're accepted, you will be notified by as late as early December this year. So there's quite a 9 months or so to prepare for the experience in China. I will leave you with this slide for a little bit more, and then I'll stop sharing my screen. But with that, I end my presentation here, and I will add to the chat additional information and other references of how you can get in contact with me and learn much more about our application process in our program. So thank you very much. I think I was much more extensive than the 15 minutes I promised to waste in the beginning of the presentation, but I'll stop sharing my screen now and start addressing some of the questions that came up through our chat box. Thank you, everybody. All right. Oh, we have quite a lot of questions here. I don't know, Zeynep or Hesna, if you will help me. I'm happy to go through that, but I'll go with the order of in which they appeared. The program is English, so starting with Seda. Thank you, Seda, for the question. Hello, is the program in English taught that we can study with scholarship? So the program, as I said, you will, in order to be eligible to Schwarzman Scholars, you need to be fluent in English when you apply. So if you haven't studied in an English-taught university in the United States, in the United Kingdom, or anywhere else in the world, you need to prove your fluency in English by submitting one of our accepted English scores. And we accept TOEFL, the TOEFL IBT, and IELTS. And you know, if you're not able to take those tests before the application deadline, please reach out to the admissions team, because we understand with COVID and with the restrictions of the pandemic, many people were not able to take tests and submit their scores in time. So what are the requirements for getting the scholarship? Thank you, Bushra, and I hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly. But I went through that, and I invite you to go to our website to check in detail each of the components and requirements to get the scholarship. How many program options are there that we can apply for? Very good question, Ada. So Schwarzman Scholars is actually one program and one program only. So everybody will be applying through one application portal that I will actually put on our chat right now. I think it's a good time to do so. If you give me a few seconds, I will copy and paste this information right there in the chat, and please let me know if this is visible to everybody. There's quite a few information there. But so the program is only one program. We have applicants from all walks of life and all disciplines, people who have already gotten a master's degree, people who are studying for their PhD, people who are still completing their undergrad or who are working in different fields. Everybody is eligible to apply, and everybody comes out of the program with one degree. It's the master's degree in global affairs. So that's the only option that is there. Does Tsinghua offers English preparation here, or we need to take the IELTS TOEFL? I think we covered that. Does the university accept PhD students? Yes, and they have a math department. We do. And Tsinghua University is actually one of the leading universities in China in the fields of especially applied physics. I wouldn't be able to say so much in mathematics. And as a Schwarzman Scholar, you are eligible to take, and there is the opportunity to take courses and classes in other departments at Tsinghua University. Of course, all of this has to be arranged with your academic advisors and with the program, but there is this possibility, and you will be in the top university in China. But Schwarzman Scholars itself is not a PhD program. It's a master's program, and that's what you'll be applying for. Do we have to graduate from the same field, or can we do a master's at any other field? Bushra, another good question that I think was answered previously. Is there any specific number of student limit for Turkey who can get the scholarship? Feysa, very good question. Thank you very much for addressing that. There are no limits. Schwarzman Scholars, we invite people from, as I said, everywhere in the world, and we select every year, and this year will not be different. We'll select around 150 to 160 students in total from all over the world. The only limit we have is for Chinese applicants. The selection of Chinese nationals is done through a separate process conducted by Tsinghua University and by our team. The requirements are exactly the same, but we have, sorry, someone lost connection. Can you still hear me? Can you just confirm that you hear me? Yep, I think
yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, perfect, Zena. So yeah, but as I was saying, there is no limit of applicants and no limits of students. The only quota we have are for Chinese nationals. So our class, which is usually 150, but we hope to one day grow to 200 students a year, 20% of the class is composed of Chinese nationals. And then the 80% are from other parts of the world. We have had very few Turkish applicants in the past compared to other major countries in the world. I'm from Brazil, and I do a lot of our outreach and selection in Latin America and parts of the Middle East and Africa. And I must say that, you know, for reasons that I cannot explain, and hopefully this webinar will help to address and resolve, we haven't had that many applicants from Turkey, and we've only had one selected scholar from Turkey so far, and hopefully we'll change this this year. So apply, give your best. We're not comparing, establishing quotas for people from specific nationalities or backgrounds. The only thing I can tell you is that if you do not apply, you do not have any chance to get selected. So go for it. Is the scholarship only for master's student, or we can apply as an undergraduate student? Aika, thank you. So as I said, you can still be in undergrad when you apply, and actually quite a lot of people do it, given our age requirements too, especially in the United States. It's very common from people who are still seniors in college, who are still in college, to apply now, and then they will enter the program. But you need to have graduated, so complete your undergraduate degree before start the program. So make sure that if you apply this year, you are in good standing to graduate before July, August of 2022. What should be the grade point average, the GPA, when applying for a master's degree? We looked quickly, your academic transcripts are part of the requirements and part of the documentation that you need to submit to us as part of your application. So, we wouldn't be asking for that if that was not considered. We do look at your grades. We do look at your academic performance during undergrad and eventually during any graduate studies that you've taken before. But we do not have a limit GPA. There's no, we don't look at only one aspect of your application to eliminate candidates or not. Now, this is a very holistic approach we have to the evaluation. Every application is read in its entirety. So think of the application as one big story about yourself. Every component of your CV, your letters of recommendation, your video, your grades, all of that will be helping, will be pieces of a puzzle that together help tell us your story and your narrative and why you want to be a Schwarzman Scholars. Why do you feel that this is the right moment to be embarking on a life-changing experience and a program like that? So, the GPA is important as anything else, but it's not the only thing we're looking at, and there's no minimum GPA requirement to apply to the program. What are the requirements for the scholarship application? Rabia, I invite you to check on the links I provided on the chat. When is the deadline? September 21st. Put it out there in your agendas if you haven't done so yet. September 21st, 2021 is the deadline for this cycle. Of course, we open the application every year. So if you plan to apply in future years, usually our timeline is kept the same. So the application deadline for global applicants usually is in the end of September of every year. Firstly, I would like to thank you for giving me all the details about the program, Abdul Hamid. And my question is about master's degree in university. If we accepted this program, when should we start university? After accepting or accepting Charlotte, before that? Very good. So yeah, this is sometimes confusing. People say, oh, do we have to have an acceptance letter from the university before we apply to Schwarzman Scholars? No. So the application portal that that is linked there on our website, and that I invite you all to visit. If you are interested in applying to the Schwarzman Scholars Master's Degree in Global Affairs, you have to apply through our application homepage. And that's how you will be considered for the program. And if you are accepted through our application process, you are automatically accepted as a Tsinghua University student. So no need to apply via the university first and then apply to the scholarship. It's all one single process. It is non-refundable scholarship, isn't it? Or do we have to add any tasks? Do we have any task after graduation? No, there's no catchphrase here. This is not a loan. This is not a fellowship that you have to pay us back over the years. But what we request from every scholar and every admitted scholar is, in many ways, much more than the financial return of the scholarship. We do have, especially Steve Schwarzman and the creators of the program, have very high stakes for the scholars. You know, this program was created to address, as I said before, the most pressuring, urgent, and incommensurable challenges of our times. And what we expect from scholars from this program is not that they return us any money or favor, is that you are and that you continue to be leaders of change in your fields, and you continue to contribute to the missions that this program was founded upon. So that's the only return that we expect. And is it non-refundable, or do we have to pay? No. And also on this issue as well, for people who say, well, if I don't get accepted to the scholarship, can I choose to do this program for, paying tuition? And no, this is not an option. There's no tuition. You are either accepted and you get the full scholarship, or you're not accepted. How long does it take to complete the master's program for an average student? So the program is a one-year program, very intensive. I still, every day, I look back and I look at the amount of things that students do during their year at the program, and I really don't understand how they can manage to do all that in 1 year. But it is a one-year program, and there's no choice to defer or prorogate or graduate later. You need to complete the program within the allotted 1 year. I think this ends the questions that were posted there on the question box. I do invite, if moderators or anyone else would like to interject, or if anybody wants to be on camera, on mic, feel free to jump in. I'm happy to answer questions live as they come.
Yes, thank you very much for your answers, Federico. I think we have another question from Saruhan. Could you please answer that too?
Where is that one? Oh, yeah. What are the job opportunities in China? for a graduate student from the program as a non-Chinese. Sorry, a little drink of water. I promise, Zainab, it is water. So what are the job opportunities in China? I mean, you scholars from this program will be graduating from the top university in China. I'm not saying that as someone trying to sell you a program. If you ask, I think, any Chinese national, or you don't need to be Chinese, but what does it mean? What Tsinghua University mean in China? It really is the type of pedigree that any young professional in China wants to have. If you have that in your curriculum, that you graduated from Tsinghua, you pretty much have many doors opening for you in any field and any industry you want in China. But job opportunities in China for students, for foreigners, is a tricky question, because China, as many countries, as I'm sure Turkey, has its own rules, has its own terms and bureaucracies. And even though it's a remarkable economy and a very dynamic sphere, especially the large cities in China, Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and the many others are very, very much international. Thinking about being a young professional or a foreigner working in China in 30 or 40 years ago was something unimaginable. And today those opportunities are there. China is more cosmopolitan than most countries, I would say, today in the world. But opportunities in China depend a lot on your interest, and obviously on your fluency in Mandarin. Right? There are restrictions for employment in China for foreigners. There are, reserves of labor laws that guarantee that, obviously Chinese workers and Chinese young professionals have preference in some hiring positions than others in some fields. But technically, and guiding from the experience of the past few years of people who have done our program, graduated. We have a number of students who remain in China after the program, many students who want to stay in China. And very honestly, the defining factor of whether to find a job in China after the program is the language, really, because there's just enough good jobs that you can find not speaking Chinese, right? This is changing. I mean, as any other cosmopolitan place, fluency in English, there's, business is conducted in English in many instances in China as well. But I would say that really this technical issue is the one that end up defining your chances of employment and future career opportunities in China. All right, another one came up from Fatima. Is it important which bachelor degree we need to have to apply to this program? So you need to have a degree before starting the program, as I said, but we invite applicants from every
Evet, Federico dondu ama birazdan geri gelmiş olur arkadaşlar. Dönünceye kadar sorularınız varsa, ilave sorularınız, lütfen yazmaktan çekinmeyin. Tüm sorulara yanıt vermeye devam ediyor Federico.
Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Welcome back.
All right. Oh, I don't have my beautiful background anymore. no, where was I? And I'm very sorry for this. I think this was on my end here. But yeah, is there any other question? I think I don't know if I answered Fatima's question, but repeating it, you can be from any bachelor's degree or any area of expertise. We invite everybody to apply, and we do not give preference. Of course, this is a master's degree in global affairs, so we do have a lot of applicants that come from the fields of international relations, business, diplomacy, international trade, but every year we have artists, scientists, people in the life sciences, and many other fields who apply to our program.
Yes, we have another question also, Federico. Lashan is asking, is the scholarship available for the Department of Archaeology?
I mean, as I said before, you can be an archaeologist and be pursuing a career in archaeology as you apply to the program, but the program is not a program in archaeology, right? You will be applying to a master's degree in global affairs, and I think all fields are relevant. I think when we think about understanding China today and China's relevance in the world, I'm sure, even though not being an archaeologist at all, but I'm pretty sure that the advancements that Chinese universities are making in this field, and Chinese professionals and science institutes are making in the field of archaeology, are also substantial. So, you can see Schwarzman Scholars as an entry point to be connected with professionals, with faculty members, with researchers who are affiliated with Tsinghua University. Okay. Did I answer all the questions?
Yes, I think you covered all of the questions, Federico. Thank you for your answers.
Excellent. And I just want to make sure that everybody receive on the chat the admissions homepage, the agenda of virtual activities that we will be hosting, my LinkedIn. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, and the office hours who are there, who I also posted on the chat. These are very interactive sessions, so these are open for you. Click there and you check your availability, and this is very intimate sessions where we have up to 3 people and myself talking about any aspect of the program. So if you're thinking about the application and you have any specific questions, or you want to just talk through your plans to apply to Schwarzman Scholars, feel free to book a time in the Calendly page there and contact us at any time. So with this, and without further ado, I just wanted to thank everybody, Zeynep, Hesna. It is really a pleasure to be here with all of you today, and I encourage you deeply to really apply. I mean, we do need more Turkish men and women to join our mission, and we invite all of you to apply and to get involved with our program. Thank you very much to all of you.
Yes. Thank you very much for your great presentation, Federico. We had a lot of questions and you answered them all. Thank you for your answers too. We believe it was a really informative webinar for the attendees. And also I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Schwarzman Bursları ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için Federico'nun paylaşmış olduğu mail adresinden ulaşabilir. Linkleri inceleyebilirsiniz. Aynı zamanda sizi alttaki webinarımıza da davet etmek isteriz. Thank you very much again, Federico. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
All right. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.